Hey Dave,
Hey, Michael.
welcome to Pump the Brakes, a weekly show about pumping the brakes on the Patriots.
The thing is, they did it for us, I
They
guess,
did
this
it for
week.
consider the brakes pumped.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, let's start off and just call a spade, right? This was a disappointment. We built this game up to a certain level because that's what it was supposed to be. It was
Hats, and
chutes and ladders, hats and t-shirts. Ended up going down the chute, not the ladder, unfortunately, back down. But this was a missed opportunity, right? Like you had a chance to establish yourself in a particular echelon of team and ahead of the Bills, your chief rival, a chance to show you're playoff ready, a chance to accomplish your main goal for the season early and on
yeah,
your terms.
and we got halfway there.
And you got halfway there. And like, listen, I don't know if it changes reality. It changes reality if you thought this team was ready to win a Super Bowl, maybe. But there is some fool's gold with this season. Undeniable with the schedule they've played has factored into what we thought about this team. Yeah.
Consciously, I know. Like we're playing with house money. This was not a team that was supposed to go anywhere. But 14 games, 14 and a half games, I really let myself believe. And that half game at the end there, that first half, that's what made this so painful.
The thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. That's the core of sports and being a sports fan, man. It's why it's hard to, a lot of people have this sort of negative, pessimistic outlook when covering these things because it's a defense mechanism to protect yourself from the pain of buying in. And there's nothing wrong with buying in as a fan. In my opinion, it's always nice to keep an objective lens when doing so. And I
It's
think
not,
we have, as a
I,
duo at
no, I
least.
haven't.
Fair enough. Fair enough. This show has tried to do a good job of it, and I think a
Yeah.
lot of the things we've talked about have unfortunately like come to pass, and they did a lot in this game as well. And some positives. All right, you still control your own destiny, right? Your main goal is to win the division, and you're still in complete control of that. If you beat the Jets and you beat the Dolphins, who are starting Brady Cook and Quinn Ewers right now, you will win the division. That's a positive. I think we've held this team to a standard of they can hang with anybody in the AFC, right? While knowing deep down that they may not have the talent to win those games regularly, but they can hang with anyone. And you hung with this team. Now, you lost close in a very devastating fashion, but you still lost in a close game to a good team with, I think many would argue, the best quarterback in the game right now.
Easily. I mean,
And,
obviously, right?
right. And I mean,
Fucker.
this is a positive and a negative, I guess, but you did have the ball with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left and a chance to win the game. So you weren't out of it by the end of the game.
Yeah, like this game could have been a lot worse, right? Like we could have been out of it by like the start of the fourth quarter, and that just would have been painful.
Yeah, you could
But
have not shown up for the game. You could have gotten
yeah,
your doors blown off. You could have had a game where the first half burst didn't happen and you were just sort of a tractor pull sort of the whole way. And it wasn't that. But on the flip side, you lost, and this was not a good loss overall. I mean, we talk a lot about how, in my eyes, complementary football is the core of being a good team. That when your offense, your defense, and your special teams as separate units execute at a level that informs the execution of the others, and you're sort of full steam ahead. This was a complementary ass kicking in the second half. You got your ass kicked on offense, you got your ass kicked on defense, you got your ass kicked on special teams, and all in ways that informed the other. Whether it was the long kick returns that consecutively gave Buffalo favorable starting field position, whether it was the defense unable to get off the field on third down, unable to hold them to a field goal even once down the stretch, the offense unable to put together even a long, coherent drive, never mind points, putting the defense back out onto the field. Complimentary ass kicking in the second half.
yeah,
And I don't
yeah.
do contenders blow 21-point leads at home to their chief rival in December? I don't know. And now you're 1-3 in games this year when trailing by 7 points or less in the fourth quarter.
Not great.
Not great.
Not great. Okay, point counterpoint. We are not mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. Our quarterback didn't tear his ACL.
Yeah, no, listen, the positives are you still are in control of your destiny, and this doesn't really change reality all too much. It brings
Yeah.
people back down to earth, brings you back down to reality. But
Better
I
to
don't,
have this game now than in the first round of the playoffs.
yes, I agree. And hopefully we don't see them in the playoffs, but we
That'd be
very well
nice.
may, and there will be some adjustments that have to be made. But we might as well break down this game that we had in
That is
front of
the point
us.
of the show.
So, Yeah, so I guess we can just jump into the offense a little bit if you want.
I don't. I don't want. I haven't watched any sports radio, any YouTube content. I don't even know how the other games went. I just turned my TV off and
It's
said,
fair.
"No sports for a while."
It's fair. It's hard to bounce back
I
after,
don't wanna be here, Dave.
Fair enough. Well, let me tell you, it doesn't take an expert to know this was a tale of two halves on offense, obviously, right? Couldn't be polar opposite halves, especially offensively. In the first half, Buffalo played a lot of single high safety, and McDaniels had him schemed up. May was 9 for 11 passing the ball in the first half. They ran for something like 170 yards on the ground. It was their best half blocking the run all season. And we knew coming into the game, Buffalo's a bad run defense. And they ran all over them in the first half. Another positive was we talked about using Drake May more as a runner in the red zone. And they were efficient doing that twice. Buffalo was not ready for May on a designed run and an RPO to score in the low red zone on offense. So that was a positive there. In the second half, Buffalo flipped the script. And they did a lot of the things that we've talked about over the past weeks, and a lot back, I think, maybe around the Browns game, about how defenses might start respecting this Patriots passing attack more by playing them differently.
I wish they hadn't.
I wish they hadn't too. But what the Bills did was they went from in the first half, two high safety looks at about 50% of snaps to 87% in the second half. So they went too high shell, which to me means take away the deep ball. So Drake May doesn't have that outlet and keep an eye on him as a rusher with the two safeties.
Yeah. No, I
Then
think you're
they,
exactly right, honestly.
yeah, and then they mixed coverage underneath man zone. They went back and forth. They didn't blitz a ton. They rushed four, dropped guys into coverage. And they also switched looks, like we talked about them potentially doing pre and post snap, which is a way to confuse inexperienced quarterbacks, and it affected Drake May. So if the Patriots have like a man zone indicator, whether that's a receiver or a back in motion to go across the formation to see if a man follows him or if the defense shifts man versus zone, the Bills would indicate one coverage with the indicator, but then play the other coverage after the snap. And it very much threw Drake May off. You could tell he was hesitant. He was rattled a little bit. He was erratic in his accuracy.
23 years old.
Yeah, and this is a big spot for him and a spot he hasn't been in at this level. And you could tell he was really pressing. And this is 2 out of 3 games now where I think with Cincinnati being the first of the two, where some of the mixing of coverages, the changings of looks before the snap and after the snap really have affected him. And it resulted in him, it wasn't so much that it resulted in really bad throws, but what the big thing to me was him locking on to his primary target and missing other open receivers because he was so zoned in on whatever his first read was. And I can think of a couple plays in particular in the second half where this occurred. He took a sack on a play where he had Mac Hollins kind of open, but he was locked in on a covered Stephon Diggs. The 3rd and 25 interception that was virtually a punt for all intents and purposes. He forces the ball down the right sideline to Mac Hollins. He had Hunter Henry, Demario Douglas, and maybe even Ramondre Stevenson open for short yardage. But in that situation, that short yardage might have gotten you back into field goal range, which the penalties took you out of. And so it's knowing taking what's on your plate as opposed to forcing a play and turning the ball over. They might have gotten points out of that. And then the last one that popped to me watching some of the film back was the 3rd and 5 on the final drive, where a couple of times the Patriots had used the running back, put him in motion out wide, and a linebacker had followed him in coverage. Well, this time the Bills put a defensive back on Travion Henderson. That makes the matchup a lot worse.
Yeah.
As a quarterback. And so if May had come off of Henderson, he had Booty open short middle, could have been a first down and extended that final drive there. So
Yeah, this
where it
just once he
really,
was rattled, he was rattled, you know what I mean?
yeah, and he was just too locked in on whatever his first read was. And so, at first, when I came away from watching the game live, and it's hard to see coverage on the television broadcast, but it felt to me like play calling was not inspiring. Like, where's the counter punching? The spacing's kind of weird on some of these passing plays. What happened to the run game in the second half? But when I went and watched it back, it felt less to me about the play calling and more to me about the quality of the quarterback play.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, yeah, listen, he played himself out of the MVP conversation, I think. Well, we'll see,
It
we'll see,
certainly
listen,
didn't
there's
help.
3 games left in Stafford, but yeah, that was
I mean, 1 for 4 for 5 yards in the fourth quarter, throwing the
not
ball.
great. Not great. Not
1 for 5
great.
on third down in the second
In a
half.
shoots and ladders game.
In a shoots and ladders game, you can't have it. In the fool's gold sort of a narrative, the schedule aspect, situationally, you've been pummeling bad teams early in games, and in the second half, been able to sort of play by your rules, and them have to not panic, and them have to play from behind. And now you played a team, and I think largely because of the quality of the quarterback they have, who didn't panic, who stuck to their game plan on offense, who had coherent adjustments on defense, chipped away, and then put you in the position to
Yeah.
where you had to press to play by a different set of rules. And you haven't been in that situation much this
It
year.
is weird that we pummeled them in the beginning. Like, it's almost like that makes less sense. But weird. It's just a weird game. It's a weird game that we haven't seen this season.
Yeah,
Or we
and I
have
think
seen it.
it's
I guess you're right. We have seen this game. We just haven't seen it against a quality opponent.
yeah, and I think what carried over what the differences from the first and second half were the adjustments they made on defense and sort of the war of attrition for them offensively against our defense. The
Yeah,
quality of play
complimentary
just
ass kicking.
fell off. And it's not to say that the play calling was perfect. It wasn't. There was a lot left to be desired, I think, in this game. The Diggs situation was very strange to me in this game.
Weird that he basically didn't play today or
Yeah, well,
Sunday.
so his usage rate is going down. This is now 3 games in a row where he has caught 3 or less passes for 30 or less yards. And a couple of people pointed out that there were plays where he like ran into leverage and not into space in this game. And so it was just a little off. I also felt in a game of such magnitude against a defense that was missing its best linebacker and its best corner. I think it was like 8 combined targets for him, Douglas, and Henry. I mean, those are your guys. Get those guys open and get targets their way. And there just wasn't enough of involvement of those guys in the game.
Yeah, I think I didn't let McDaniels know that like I have a bye week this week, and so like I didn't need the Henderson game that we had. Right, that's this week.
Uh,
I need that this week.
That would have been nice, wasting the best running performance of the season for the Patriots. But I don't know. There was a couple of play calls, like the second drive of the game. There's a 3rd and 1, the drive they don't score on. They take a shot down the field. Didn't make a ton of sense.
Yeah,
The big sort of confounding shift between first and second half, right, is the run game. You ran so goddamn effectively in the first half, your best
fuck
half of running all
happened?
year. In the second half,
What, their defense got less tired? What the fuck happened?
I think part of it is you never sustained a drive, so it's hard to get the run game going when you're never on schedule down and distance
Yeah,
wise.
that was
The first drive of the second half, you start out with a run, it goes for -1 yards. Now you're throwing to catch up on that drive. The drive to me, or there's 2 drives back to back, a Patriots drive and a Buffalo drive, that are the changing where the game changed and flipped on its head for good. It was the 3rd and 25 interception drive. You get a first down to Stephon Diggs at the 41-yard line. Here's your series of plays after that: incomplete, incomplete, false start, hold, interception. That first and or second down should have been running the ball. You threw on first down, you threw on second down when you're running all over this team. You have a
yeah.
chance to run some of the clock down, to move the ball, to have some balance between pass and run, and you chose pass, pass, then you get fucked by penalties and you throw a punt. And so that drive is followed up then, not to jump to the defense, but that drive is then followed up by a drive where on defense Buffalo is able to convert a 3rd and 7 to Dalton Kincaid, who found an open zone behind a blown coverage with Mapu.
Yeah.
4th and 3, which is the Marcus Jones, was it a pick? Was it pass interference play? That's a converted 4th down. Then 3rd and goal from the 14-yard line, where there's miscommunication on the defensive edge. Allen's able to extend the play and find Kincaid covered by Christian Ellis. And so those 2 drives back to back to me are where this game flipped. And that drive by the Patriots is where I really would question the play calling in hindsight.
Okay.
But I mean, just over seven
Fuck me.
minutes of
Okay.
possession in the second half.
Cool.
And
Fuck.
you want another really bad statistic too? Cumulative statistic here that doesn't look good is you have now just 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns as an offense since the first time you played the Bills, which was week 5.
Weird. Weird stat. Shitty
They don't
team.
finish games well on offense.
No.
It started out with us saying they don't put teams away, which is I think the first phase of you play bad in the second half. This was beyond that to where it was just you completely fell off a cliff in the second half. Never mind not
Speaking of falling
finishing a
off a
team
cliff in
off.
the second half, let's talk about the fucking defense.
Yeah, the defense. Well, it starts with the kick coverage
The
because
fucking the Matthew Judon's revenge.
yeah, another Buffalo no-show by the Patriots defense in
Ugh,
classic Judon fashion.
god damn it.
Yeah, it starts with the kick coverage to start with the ball in your midfielder plus territory, three straight drives, an offense
Dog
that
shit.
powerful. And then they did what we thought they would do offensively, and they did exactly what they wanted to do offensively. And that was run the offense through James Cook on the ground, extend plays with Allen's legs, and pepper the tight ends in your zones and against your linebackers. And that's what they did. They did all of those three things. And it's because you got your ass kicked up front. That's where it starts and ends. You had poor play at the point of attack on the line of scrimmage, bad pad level on the defensive line. The offensive line kicked the shit out of them. I know the coach complained about holding, but at the end of the day, it didn't get called, and you got your ass kicked. There were missed tackles on the defensive line and at the linebacker level. There were bad run fits at the linebacker level. There was a lack of like a coherent spy at times on Allen, which allowed him to get around the defense more easily. You had poor edge integrity, as always, and you got no pressure from the defensive line. You cannot rush the passer with four guys on this defense. Barmore hasn't taken a step forward in the absence of Milton Williams. I don't know if he's hurt, but it hasn't been enough. You're
Caleb
not
on
getting
Chason just didn't play this game.
you
Like
haven't seen
sat that way.
Chason make a difference in a couple of weeks. Landry, maybe in a couple months, hasn't given you anything. And so if you're going to sit in these zones and get no pressure, you're going to get picked apart. And then when you do get pressure, it's because you're blitzing and you're leaving bigger holes in coverage because you're being aggressive trying to get to the passer. And so this defensive front is not good enough. I'd like to think that Milton Williams coming back will help them. It will help them. But your front should not fall off a cliff like this because you lost one player who is not known as a run stopper. First of all, he was a rotational pass rusher in Philadelphia. That's his game. He was very good in the run game so far for the Patriots. But this idea that because Milton Williams is gone, your run defense isn't good anymore is not an excuse to me. The personnel's just not good enough, is the bottom line.
But but it was generationally good in the first half of the season.
That's great. What good does that do? I mean,
No,
you
it
think
doesn't,
that's
but like
all
it does
Milton
see. But
Williams?
like the only thing that really changed was Milton Williams.
What also changed is the war of attrition took place. You're not in week 5 anymore. You're in week
Right,
15. You're worn down. Landry isn't the Harold Landry of week 4. Caleb on
right.
Chason isn't the same.
Our
Kairos
guys are
Tonga came back, had a dog shit game. He
well,
found himself way too far upfield against the run on multiple times. They love that. If you're a defensive lineman against a run first team and you want to run all the way up the field, they'll let you do that all day because they're just going to run in the gap that you vacated by doing that. Way too aggressive. And so, yeah, you missed Robert Spillane and you don't have any depth behind him, which is tough. But you can't go from the upper echelon to like bottom 10 just because you lost one guy who isn't known as a premier run stopper.
yeah.
At the end of the day, that just the defensive talent in the front isn't good enough. And when you're
But we
playing a
and we
team,
knew and we knew that going into the season, right? Like this is a team that was put to it's a miracle that we got this far, but
and here's the problem with a Buffalo matchup is you get to a point in this game where you just need someone to make a fucking play on defense. Like you're
and
not going to get a
there's no one to
stop,
make a
right?
play. No one
Well,
made a
the
play.
problem is who are your playmakers? Who are your best players on this defense outside of Milton Williams? Who are your best
No,
players?
it is Milton Williams.
But outside of him, your best
Well,
players
there
are your
is no there's
corners.
no one.
They're your corners. But your
Oh, yeah.
corners live on the outside. Josh Allen doesn't want to go to the outside. Ideally, he doesn't test them at all. So your best playmakers are being avoided. They're out of the play.
They're avoidable.
Right. He's going to go to his tight end. And so if I'm playing Buffalo again, I don't care that you like to play zone. I don't care that you don't like having a defensive back follow a guy across the field. Dalton Kincaid cannot beat you if you play them again. He has to be taken out of the pass game, whether it's a Gonzalez or a Carlton Davis following him all game, or it's bracketing him in coverage. You cannot get beat by Dalton Kincaid if you play them again. That would be my number one thing
You can't
as an
lose to a man
adjustment.
named Dalton. I'm sorry.
No, no, you can't. And
No.
losing Davis for a while was scary as well because you really forget how thin they are at corner.
Everywhere.
I didn't even know, like, I know Charles Wood's on the team, but I didn't know who number 22 was for like the first couple of plays where he was out there in Davis's stead. And Davis and Gonzalez are your two strongest coverage players down to down. And so
Yeah.
you lose, now Marcus Jones is on the injury report, banged up. Carlton Davis is banged up. Something to watch.
Yeah. No, it's gonna be listen, it's gonna be a tough matchup against the Ravens. All right,
Yeah.
I'm done talking about the Bills. That's enough.
One other note though, just
God
to
damn
wrap
it.
up how I'm not happy with this defense. Buffalo had 12 turnovers in their five previous games. Five previous games. You didn't get them to turn the ball over once.
No, we did not.
So it's not good enough. But yeah, we could talk about Baltimore. An interesting
Great.
game. This is a game that strangely both means nothing and everything at the exact same time.
Yeah.
I mean, it means nothing because it in no way affects your ability to win the division, other than it slightly affects your ability to win like the fourth tiebreaker or something, which you already are in position to lose if all things hold, which is like AFC record. You have to beat the Jets and the Dolphins. That's the way to win the division. You don't do it, you lose the division. So what happens against Baltimore has no bearing on that. The flip side, it kind of means everything because you are playing prime time, Sunday night, national game, former league MVP against a quality team. They might not be world beaters, but they're a quality team playing better football the last couple of weeks, trying to make the playoffs. And you have to respond to how you looked in that last game.
Yeah.
So it's a big spot, even though there are no real stakes seeding wise for you.
I mean, listen, we're still in the running for the number one seed, right? Like Denver could lose 2 games.
It's not out of the question.
Yeah.
And so
Like
you do want to
we
win this
have to
game.
win out. We have to win out. Like just for just for the mental for my sake.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it would go a long way because we've talked about can they hang with any team in the AFC? But can they beat any of them?
I mean,
You've
we've
lost.
beaten right.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
that's a
I
good
mean,
question.
you've lost to Buffalo once.
Beat
You lost to
Buffalo once.
Pittsburgh. So now if you play at Baltimore and you lose to Baltimore,
We
can
lost to
we
the
say,
Raiders. Can't
right,
believe
but
we
that's
lost to the
week,
Raiders.
again, that's week
I
one.
know it's week 1, but
It's a
fuck
bad
me, we lost to
loss.
the Raiders.
But if you just focus on playoff quality teams
Yeah,
in the AFC, we can say they can hang with anyone, but what good is that if they can't
can't
beat
beat
any
them.
of them?
Yeah.
And I think this game against the Ravens could speak to the idea of can you beat any of these teams
Yeah, I
besides
mean,
just hang
listen,
with
the
them?
Chiefs hung with a bunch of playoff teams week and this year.
Yeah, a lot of good your one score losses are when you're on the
Yeah.
outside looking in. And
God damn
so
it.
can you beat any of these teams? And unfortunately, defensively, I don't know if Baltimore can like switch coverages and give you those kind of confusing looks like Buffalo did. They've been banged up a lot this year on that side of the ball. My concern would be their offense against your defense because what do they like to do? The same exact shit Buffalo likes to do.
Yeah.
Run the offense through a bruising running back,
Yeah.
use a mobile quarterback to extend plays in the passing game,
Yup.
and throw to their tight ends. So
Yeah.
you're going to have to step up the performance on defense. And Milton Williams won't be there. And Bob Spillane probably won't be out there either. They have to show up ready to execute on defense in a way that they haven't done in a while. I mean, they did it against the Giants, but that's the Giants. This is a much bigger stage and a higher stakes, better opponent. So this defense has to show up. We'll see.
That one, it just hurt. It hurt. And now we're in prime time and I'm scared and I want to go home. I want my mom to hold me and tell me it's going to be okay.
I mean, listen, the offensive stuff I think is fixable. It's all just a
Yeah.
matter of diagnosis and experience and not repeating mistakes. And we have rightfully given Drake May credit for all of those things as areas of growth across the season. And so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that this is going to be a positive growth experience for him. Again, just on the defensive side, I tend to believe that this is not fixable this year. And so we'll see what the performance is on a given Sunday, but I don't have a ton of faith against particular
Not a
matchups in this
championship
defense.
winning defense. And last Sunday they proved it.
Football's a matchup sport, and
Yeah.
Buffalo is a bad matchup for that defense for the reasons we talked about. And so is Baltimore.
Yeah. They will perform. I mean, yeah. Yeah. All right. That's enough. Fuck this.
Go Pats, I guess.
Fuck the Jets. I'm gonna be that Jets game matters now. I'll be
Yep.
attending.
Yep. It's
Great.
big stakes. Got to win that one. Got to win that one.
Gotta win that one. Fuck, man.
But there are some stakes in this. I shouldn't have said there are no stakes in this
This,
Baltimore game.
I mean, it affects our ability to get into the playoffs.
You can clinch a spot by winning. So you're
Yeah,
in the playoffs if you win this game
that would be.
against
And
Baltimore.
listen, that was the goal for the start of the season. Let's not lose our eyes on the original ball, even though a much shinier ball appeared and is now bouncing away.
Yeah, I'm going to still hold them to this division, winning the division.
We should
Part
win
of
the
your goal
division.
is making the playoffs, but I'm going to hold them to winning the division as a mark of true success for this year, especially because of the position you put yourself in. If you finish this way, if you lose this division, that means you lost that big spot against Buffalo, which you have, and then you
Yeah.
lost to one of the Jets or the
To Quinn
Dolphins.
Ewers and Tyrod
You
Taylor.
can't have it.
No, can't lose to Quinn Ewers.
Not acceptable. Milton Williams will conceivably be back for those games as well. Hopefully, Will Campbell
God.
is back, though I don't think it's been a disaster without him by any means. So,
Yeah, Vidarian Lowe. Who knew?
yeah,
I
just
guess he's
another one
not
of those
injured.
procedural penalties that bit you in the ass with the false start late in the
Well,
game.
that's true.
But,
Yeah, I mean, listen. He's still Vidarian Lowe.
right, yeah. So, we'll see, man. We'll see. Like I said, I don't think it changes reality a ton. It brings us back
Just
down to
brings us
earth.
back to reality, and I was
Right.
really enjoying not being in reality. It was
Yeah, it
really
was
nice.
nice for a change.
It was nice. All right, I'm Michael,
And I'm Dave.
and I'm sad.
Go Pats.